Okay, so I've been drawing since like 2021 or 2022. I don't really remember. I wasn't tracking exactly when, but I was looking at some old sketches recently, and since like 2022, I think this sketch was, to now, I feel like I've improved a decent amount. But I know that if I'd done things differently, I definitely could have improved way more, like way faster, and I'd be a lot better at drawing and have gotten more out of drawing than I have so far. So in this video, I want to talk about the things that I wish I knew when I first started drawing. There's 4 main things to cover in this video, and then kind of like a bonus one at the end. So the first thing I realized I was doing is I was just overwhelming myself with information. So from when I first started drawing, I was kind of in a rush to get good at everything, like as quick as possible, right? So my idea behind it was, I'm just gonna try to learn everything at the same time. So I just binge watched all the videos on all the fundamentals and tried to just amass as much information as possible about all the things that I needed to learn to be good at drawing. And then I was just trying to execute everything at the same time. And it made sense to me at the time that, okay, well, I want to be good quick, so let me just learn everything. But I definitely found that if you try to learn everything, you end up learning nothing. And the most effective way to approach things is to just do things one at a time. Because I think the human brain is not actually meant for multitasking and stuff like that. I think it's way more effective to just learn one thing. Like anybody can just learn and memorize one thing, right? And then to learn everything, you just learn that one thing and then move on to the next and just keep stacking them up over and over and over until you have so many things that you learned, instead of just trying to take everything and do it all in one go. So yeah, I think it's super common for people to feel overwhelmed in art because there's so many things to learn, right? But yeah, I would advise anybody who's new, or even if you're not new and you just feel overwhelmed, I would advise to just take things one at a time. You don't have to learn everything right now. You should just focus on one thing that you struggle with until you don't struggle with it anymore, and then you can move on to the next thing. Okay, the next thing is kind of related to overwhelming myself, but I really wanted to avoid being stagnant and staying comfortable, because I knew that obviously doing that, you're not gonna improve. And that's obviously true. If you just do things that you know you find easy and that you can do, you're not growing at all, right? But I've always been the complete opposite of that, to where I've always tried to do things that are way ahead of my level at the time. I remember a time when I had started learning to paint, and I was trying to do full paintings with all different types of lighting and all this stuff when I didn't even know the basics of painting first. Basically, to put it short, I was trying to do big jumps in improvement rather than just taking small steps at a time. But yeah, I kind of figured out that the approach to it is similar to when you're in the gym, and it's this thing called progressive overload. So when you're in the gym lifting weights, and you know you can only do a certain amount of weight, to try and get stronger, you're not gonna start lifting double the weight. That just doesn't even make sense. And you will actually end up just injuring yourself, and then you end up becoming weaker. But yeah, the idea of progressive overload is just adding a little bit more onto what you can already do, right? So that way you're not staying stagnant and just lifting the same weight that you can already lift, but you're also not overwhelming your body and injuring yourself. And the same thing applies to your brain when you're trying to learn things. If you put on double the amount of information or double the amount of difficulty that you're trying to learn, you're just gonna fry your brain. And it's way more effective to just do a little bit more than you can do. And that takes a lot of being honest with yourself and just, accepting your current skill level and then just moving one step ahead of that. Okay, the next thing is, for a long time, I was kind of afraid of making projects for whatever reason. Actually, well, I know the reason. It was just an ego thing. I wanted to be good first, then make things later. My mindset was always I had these cool ideas, but I was oh, I'll make it when I get good. But when you work on projects, whether it's an illustration or a comic or whatever you want to do art for, right? An animation, you learn so much through actually making stuff. Because whenever you learn something new, you have to apply it. You haven't actually learned it until you can execute it, right? And working on your creative projects is where you actually have space to execute the things that you've been studying and learning. And execution is a skill in itself, even beyond just understanding it. So it takes a lot of practice of that. So you're really robbing yourself of a lot of knowledge by being scared to just make stuff. And yeah, when you start out, it's not going to be good. You're not going to even probably like the things you make. Sometimes you will. Obviously, a lot of times you won't, because you're just not at the skill level you want to be at yet. But even when artists get to a high skill level, it's still so common to feel you could be doing better, because you always want to grow. And I always think about that famous clip of Takehiko Inoue raging over his drawing, where most artists would be over the moon with what he drew, but as an artist, it's just natural to always have a higher standard for yourself. So for him, he was just getting frustrated over it. Also, when it comes to making stuff, it just means you actually have something to show for all the grinding you're putting in. For a lot of years, I was just grinding fundamentals or just trying to learn different stuff, but I had nothing to show for it. If somebody asked me, oh, you do art, can I see some of your art? all I could show them is just studies and like, sketches of oh, I'm just studying this anatomy, or I'm trying to practice boxes. And it's like, it's cool, but that's not what you're making art for, right? Obviously, there's a minority of people who get into drawing purely just for the draftsmanship of it. And you have to respect that. Like, that's really cool, right? Like, a lot of people just find drawing fun in terms of just the pure technical side of it. But a majority of us got into drawing because we have ideas for creative things that we want to make. So yeah, there's no need to deny yourself the reason why you started drawing just because, oh, you want to be good first. Because making projects is not going to make you any worse at drawing, and it will make you better at drawing, to be honest. So yeah, there's no point in avoiding it. Okay, the next thing that I wish I did differently was that I was like kind of uncertain about what I actually wanted to do in art. I think it's natural to want to explore all different fields of stuff and different avenues, but I had started drawing because I wanted to make a comic, right? I wanted to make manga, right? But in just the pursuit of trying to get good, I ended up going down all different routes. I was looking at all different types of art, right? And for like a year or probably more than that, I was just trying to learn painting, which obviously there's things that you learn from that you can apply to comics, but I was just trying to learn how to paint and concept art and stuff like that. And then for a lot of the time, I was just doing things with no direction at all. Like, I was just like, oh well, I just want to get good at drawing in general, which yeah, is cool, but I just feel that if I had been focused on comics and stuff the whole time, I would have made a lot more progress because I'd be more focused. It would be much easier to know what I have to learn instead of just trying to learn everything. And again, yeah, just trying to learn everything, you're going to overwhelm yourself, right? So yeah, I think it's really common for artists to want to try to do everything, but you have to just accept having weaknesses. There's nothing wrong with having weaknesses in your skills. Not every artist is the best in the world in every single field. Like, your favorite manga artist is not going to be as good as your favorite painter at painting, and vice versa. And neither of them are going to be as good at animating as your favorite animator, right? And that doesn't mean to say you can't dabble and practice other skills as well. But I think moving towards a main goal is going to help you so much and give you so much direction. And I definitely wish that's something I had started doing earlier. Okay, and for the last thing, like I mentioned before, this is kind of a bonus thing. But a lot of my problems when it came to overwhelming myself and stuff like that, it really stems from this idea that, oh, I want to get good quickly. But one thing I realized is that getting good quickly, it doesn't really matter that much. Like, if you're focused on getting good fast, well, you're just gonna end up like sabotaging yourself in a way. So when it comes to learning, I just wouldn't really think of a time scale in general. I think it's way better to just focus on what you're trying to learn at the time, and again, just learning one thing at a time, and don't think, oh, it's going to take me this long to learn it or that long to learn it. Just focus on learning it until you understand it, you get it down, then move on to the next thing. And don't put this time pressure thing on yourself, because that's why I ended up trying to learn everything at once, rushing, feeling like I had to have all these different skills. It was all because of this made up deadlines that I was giving myself. Like, when I first started drawing, my mindset was really, oh, I want to be like pro level artist in 2 or 3 years. And that doesn't mean to say it's not possible, but come on, bro, like why did I think that that's something that I should be achievable? When you put those like time boundaries on yourself, unless you're somebody who's already learned a lot of skills in life and you already understand the process of how to go about this stuff, like, there's no reason to put those time boundaries on yourself. I was 17 when I first started drawing, so I had not really gotten to a super high level in any skill before, so I didn't have the wisdom or knowledge to understand the process of how to efficiently learn things, which is why I made all these mistakes, right? But yeah, I don't think it's important to think about the time or how fast you're learning things. Just enjoy the process, bro. Like, don't be so focused on the result. But yeah, I hope that's helpful to anybody who's new to drawing, or just anybody who feels like they've not been making a lot of progress in their work and stuff like that.